licks those stains off of colored clothes with Lick's Curler Safe Bleach. Licks went even further with Bondicare body soap bars being deodorant and antibacterial. So rinse tiredness and bacteria out and refresh your tired body. Your product's giving you licks? Then choose Licks from G'day Distribution Inc. Available at all leading supermarkets.
All right, due to some technical difficulties, our Facebook live stream was cut short, but we are back in action and we are putting everything, we're continuing with the broadcast. So, those of you listening on the Facebook platform, yes, we did cut off for a little while, but we are back. As I was saying, it is no longer a soft diplomacy in the Western Hemisphere. No, it is a hard diplomacy, and we see this in a lot of the policies that are coming down to us small island states from our closest international ally, America. We now have to contend with visa restrictions. We have to contend with tariffs on imported goods. We have to also contend with accepting deportees from third countries. That means we're accepting persons who are not St. Lucian citizens, but who are living in the U.S. and have been deemed no longer necessary and are being deported. And apparently, for some reason or other, these individuals cannot go back to their home country. And so St. Lucia and her other counterparts in the OECS are being forced to accept these individuals into their countries. And they have no say in the matter. They cannot say no. They've all signed these agreements, the memorandums of understanding. They've all been told that you have no choice. When we call on you to accept these individuals, you have to accept them with open arms. St. Lucian citizens and citizens of 74 other countries, because the Prime Minister stressed on that. We're not the only one. There are 75 countries in all. Yes, 75 countries worldwide have been told that immigrant visas, permanent residence, green cards, that sort of thing, we're not processing any of that right now. Why? Because you didn't toe the line, or your governments didn't toe the line that we drew in the sand. And the people will pay the price. Now, of course, the Prime Minister has informed each and every one of us that regardless of who is in the White House, he and his government ministers will always, as long as they serve the St. Lucian public in the Parliament, they will always have U.S. visas. Funny, he never said what he was going to do to help us, we the people. Those of us who gave him that mandate that he is so proud of and happy about. He's never said what he's going to do to help us regain access to the United States. But he doesn't have to, because according to him, he is not personally affected. But that might sound harsh. Some people might be saying, oh, you're being overly critical of the situation. But hey, I can't judge the Prime Minister based on things that he didn't say. I have to judge him based on his remarks, his actions, and his policy. Now, I did tell you that I was going to inform you where some of that CIP money that you guys have been so interested in has gone. You see, on Monday, the Prime Minister participated in the weekly pre-cabinet press briefing. And on that occasion, the Prime Minister explained to the media, and by extension the public, why he has been so adamant in informing St. Lucians to participate in rainwater harvesting. According to the Prime Minister, we need to do our part. Sorry, Mr. Prime Minister, that's Wasco water that I stored. I know you really don't like that, but I have no choice. So, he explained to the media, and by extension the public, why he has been so insistent, why he is so passionate. That's the word he used. He said he is passionate about persons participating in rainwater harvesting. And I need you guys to give the Prime Minister a listening ear, because it all ends, it doesn't start out too well, but it does end in an explanation as to where some of the CIP monies was spent. And I'm hoping that this is simply, this indicates or points to a crack open of that oh so secretive door that will let us in and tell us where the rest of the CIP money has gone. So I take you now, guys, to the pre-cabinet press briefing, which was held on Monday, that would be yesterday, where the Prime Minister of St. Lucia had a talk with some of our media personnel. He spoke about several important issues, including his issues with Wasco. And he did explain a few things. So I'm hoping you guys could help me give the Prime Minister a listening ear so we can find out together where our CIP money has been spent. So here goes.
A threat to American security. So we just being proactive. We are just being proactive. We are friends with the the American government. They are friends. We have excellent relationships with them. We have to protect our students. We have to protect our health services. It will be a tremendous loss to us if Cuban doctors can no longer come to St. Lucia. It will be a tremendous loss to our medical services. So we have to be proactive. We also have students training in Cuba. We have to be proactive because the national government is being proactive. We're not screaming out of the window, or we're not complaining. We are dealing with the reality of the international situation. This is the global reality we as a small island have to deal with, and we are taking precautionary steps. So when or if that situation emerges, because it's been clear that the American government does not want Cuban doctors to operate in the island. This is a fact. It is clear. This American policy, as said by the Secretary of State. St. Lucia has no issue with American government policy. We can't control American policy. The people of America voted for that policy. That's what they voted. They voted for that policy. So what we have to do is we have to make alternative arrangements for ourselves when these things happen. But we can't fight with America for its policy. We may not agree with it, but we can't fight with it. That's American government policy. So we have to work with it and work around it. I will not be a hypocrite and come here and tell you that St. Lucia can fight American government policy. We can't. What we can do, we can make alternative plans, we can get together as a region. Our people must understand what we have to deal with, and together we can solve the situation. But America will always remain one of our closest allies. The students, those are in Cuba, will continue to be in Cuba. They'll continue to be in Cuba. Yes, they will. There's no imminent withdrawal from students. No, they'll continue students here. Life goes on. But under the circumstances, understanding that life will be what it is. You understand? Which is in a state that America has said is a threat to its security. That's reality. We must start dealing with the reality of the situation. That has been an executive order from the President of the United States. That's a fact.
So, like you said, we can't fight American policy, and they've taken issue with Cuban doctors being in the region.
Publicly.
In terms of how this affects our own medical system, if push comes to shove, what's the plan moving forward?
Well, it's work in progress. What's happening now is, first of all, we have to assess where we are in terms of scholarships for our medical students. That's the first thing we have to do. Secondly, we have to look to other countries. There's Mexico. There are countries in Africa. And that is why it was so short-sighted when a few people were so vehemently against us with the visit of the Nigerian president. You understand? The same people who are crying now, who are hypocritically pretending as if they care. When St. Lucia looked for other sources of support for Nigeria, they were the same people who were condemning, and it was spreading all kind of propaganda, etc. Right now, there are certain countries in the region who are now have noticed some Ghana. Right? So St. Lucia is going to be looking at exploring at all these possibilities. Nigeria, Ghana, Mexico, Brazil, those countries, we're going to be approaching them, see how they can support us if push really comes to shore. But as we speak now, the issue is that we have to look and prepare for the eventuality.
Final question from me for now. Another issue you spoke about at the Congress was the commissioning of the hospital and the costs. I know the budget is coming up, and you did mention the CIP being an avenue to kind of help with that, but with pressures from the EU and other countries, what other means of financing is the government looking at to continue to support the commissioning and the health sector?
Well, the commissioning of St. Jude is going very well, and I think there were some pictures somewhere on there. It's going very, very well. Most of the equipment is in St. Lucia. As you know, that we secured the loan from the Saudi government. Most equipment is in St. Lucia, and it's going very well. I've budgeted in the budget you'll hear, in the estimates you'll hear next month, we've budgeted already for the commissioning of the hospital. So that is happening. That will happen. What we have to do, we have to, our economy is performing satisfactorily, but we have to watch our expenses. We have to watch how we spend our money, and we have to be careful that we keep within certain fiscal rules, still within certain balances, and we haven't been, right now. That's happening. That is happening. We have a primary surplus coming up, so the economy, as we speak now, is doing relatively well. So we can fund our budget, we can fund our expenses, and we have the funds to commission the hospitals. That's happening now.
On the topic, let's remain on the topic of the hospital for a while. We know that the commissioning is happening in phases. Is there any indication of how many phases are there, and when the final phase will come to an end?
First of all, I know you don't like me to say that, not you, but some people hypocritically want me to say I know everything. I'm not going to say that. I depend on the experts. The experts will tell me the phases.
So they haven't told you yet?
I know the physiotherapy ward and the dialysis ward are being done as we speak. The rest will come in phases. I'm not a doctor.
Okay.
You don't be heard, right?
No problem, sir. Moving on, I heard you speak about the challenges with WASCO.
You have you noticed Rihanna's haircut?
I have noticed it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I have noticed. On the issue of WASCO, I heard you speak about the issues with WASCO. You said that it would take millions of dollars to fix the challenges with WASCO.
Millions.
I know that we have foreign direct investment for several things. Have we thought about foreign direct investment to fix challenges with WASCO?
Okay, let me tell you something that we've just done in the cabinet. The cabinet has formed a committee to look at a different arrangement for WASCO. You may recall, and probably you may be a little too young for that. You may recall that in a past Labour Party government, we began to deal head first with the issue of WASCO, the corporatization of WASCO. The opposition turned it into privatization, and there was a whole hue and cry about it. That was never happening, right? At that time, the Labour Party had the vision to know that WASCO could not continue as it was continuing now. We understood that vision, and we talked about making a corporate entity. We were criticized by the opposition in no uncertain terms. The usual short-sightedness. Right now, WASCO is in a situation where we have to find a solution for it, and the cabinet has formed. We've got several proposals, and the cabinet has formed a committee, a cabinet committee with technocrats to deal with a permanent solution to the issues of WASCO. But as we speak, WASCO is in dire debt, WASCO is in dire circumstances, and I can tell you, the government has subsidized WASCO for the last year of $1.2 million, $1.1 million every month. Government has been subsidizing WASCO for the last year. And if I can tell you the source for the CIP.
So there you go, guys. The CIP has been, according to Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre, you wanted to know where the money was gone? It went into WASCO. We have some, of course, comments on the Facebook platform. These guys don't miss a beat. Somebody says we have whoa, I can't say that on the air. I'm going to have to skip that one. Naughty. Somebody says we voted for a man that will say to his people, life is what it is. I thought we voted for a government to help us make our lives better. That's some craziness coming out of Philip's mouth. Somebody else says, the land of Wepu, call, see for yourself. Another says, he not a police, now he's not a doctor. The man not taking nothing serious. Somebody's asking, Angie, do you go to these press conferences? Well, I used to. But because of the budding situation between myself and the Minister of Tourism, I have decided to step away for a time. When all of that craziness is done, then I will resume attending these press conferences. But seems to me as if I am missing out on all the fun. Somebody says, a confused Prime Minister. Another says, but you are blind, PJP. Somebody says, turn me see. Then we should just free water. So you heard it here, guys, out of the mouth of the Prime Minister. That CIP money that you guys were searching for all over the place, it went into Wasco. 1.2 million, or is it 1.1 million? Or does he even remember the figure? But whatever it is, whatever it was, it came from the CIP and went into Wasco. We need to listen very carefully when these people speak. And if this is true, I guess I understand the famous ad that says, I am the I in CIP. Because water is life, and if the CIP money has been going to Wasco, somebody's calling. Good afternoon to you, caller. You are on the air.
Angie.
Hi.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
How much money gone missing from the CIP?
I don't know.
Is it 1.2 million?
I don't know. The Prime Minister is simply saying that he's been giving Wasco.
Angie, the money that got missing from the CIP is in the billions. In the B's.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And he's talking about the money going to Wasco. So all the billions go to Wasco. He said only 1.2 million dollars went there.
He said,
that's what he said.
No, hold on. He said $1.2 million a month for the past year.
For the past year.
Mm-hmm.
How many millions in a billion?
I don't know if
Don't answer that. Don't answer that.
I was about to tell you, I don't know if you've noticed, but maths isn't my strong suit.
Don't answer that. Don't answer that.
Yeah.
The man just know that the most 95% of the solution is just stupid. Tell him anything. Tell him anything. I don't listen to you, you know. I didn't lay on my bed and listen to you attentively. I hear this nonsense talk about Trump come after him, and he told me it's a global thing. When the great man Michael Shafter was there, he had no problems with nobody, with no country.
True.
No country whatsoever. He knew what to touch, what not to touch. He knew that. That's why he was never in trouble with nobody. If the great man become prime minister tomorrow, things turn around. Just like that. These guys don't understand. When Martinez was talking about them, about the US currency in their CIP, and calling Martinez all kind of names, all kind of this, and even calling Shaf's names too. When the man told him to come up there, I got something to show you man is this man is that, he's the next. And the solution people follow. Oh, he is this, he's that, he's next. Shah the great man there, saw it, and what he saw, worse than he thought. And when he came back, they asking him, what did he see? What do you think Shah's a boost boy? You're a boost boy, go and see for yourself. Disrespecting the Americans. And that CIP was in US currency. And they wanted Martinez to come down there and deal with the CCJ. Martinez said, no, I ain't going to Martinez. I want you to come over to America because y'all deal with the US currency. Come to America. Come over to America. That's where Trump got them. That's where Trump got them. Okay? That's where Trump got them. That CCJ can't help them. That CCJ cannot help them. And the lady asked me yesterday if I came down to vote. I asked the lady this question. Did Donald Trump come down to vote? Did Donald Trump, madam? Did Donald Trump come down to vote?
Is he eligible to vote in St. Lucia?
You know what he is now? He's the Prime Minister, you know. He's the President, you know. What he tells governors do, they got to do. They have to do.
Yep, that seems to be the situation.
Not seems to be, because they put St. Lucia in a rut.
Yeah.
That's it to me. Trump coming on those guys because these guys done a pack. I tell you, I can send you stuff, you know, man. I got stuff to send you, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'll blow your head, you know. I got stuff here, you know. These guys, you know, I tell you, St. Lucia is in a lot of trouble. A lot. Guess what? Ask any of them if they can go to the US. Ask any of them, any minister of government, if they can go to the US.
Well, the Prime Minister did say that he has a visa.
No matter what he say, he lies all the time. Don't believe anything he say. I gotta tell you that. He lies all the time. He lies every day. He don't know nothing. He don't have the word truth in his vocabulary. He lies. Until Trump got him. Tell him to give line to Trump. Right now, none of those guys are sleeping. You know why? The one doing this, the aircraft carrier will come down there, and the Marines will come down and drop a rope and pick them up.
Well,
you laughing, huh?
The Prime Minister.
You guys gotta ask these guys pertinent questions.
I'm laughing because hold on. I'm laughing because of a comment that the Prime Minister made over the weekend. He said, and I quote, he wants to sleep in his bed, and so because of that, he cannot make his own friends. I'm assuming.
Who calls that? He calls that himself. Because that CCJ, I personally believe. I personally that CCJ was all in the organized crime. That CCJ will help them. That CCJ is no help to them. No help to them. They can turn up to any bank they like. They have to do whatever Donald say. And I love what Donald is doing. I love what he's doing. Because he's too arrogant. Did the great man put St. Lucia in that rut? Did the great man put St. Lucia in that rut? No. Is St. Lucia a sovereign state? Yes. According to Bolaya, what's his name? Hilaire. Another liar. All those guys that all do is lie. Well, tell Hilaire, St. Lucia is a sovereign state. America is a sovereign state too. That's what they're forgetting. And what they're forgetting, the main thing they're forgetting is this here. St. Lucia needs America more than America needs St. Lucia.
That is true.
I was going far saying America don't need St. Lucia at all. At all.
We really don't export anything except CMOS to America, and that is not even largely. I mean, it's a very minute amount compared to, say, the banana industry and what we exported to Britain in the 80s. So we largely depend on America for our livelihood. Most of our tourists come from the American market.
Everything. Ask them if they can go to the States. Ask them that. Ask them if it's affecting all of them. If they can go to America. Ask them. Don't ask them to. Ask them. And the members of the press. A press conference. And they down there like it's a comedy show. I get laughing and smiling up with their men. Who does that? Who does that? Oh, you have a haircut? A bunch of jokers. They're so encouraging the government to do the nonsense. The journalists of St. Lucia. Majority of journalists of St. Lucia. I got no time for them. No time for them. They're horrible. They're horrible, man. If I tell you, oh, he ain't know nothing about Uber. He ain't know nothing about that. Tell you what, come to Bermuda. And just tell him come to Bermuda. Tell him come to Bermuda if you want to hear all hell break loose.
I do find it quite strange though that the minister is saying that Uber they told Uber that they needed to have some consultation, and then Uber told them that they were going ahead with their launch. Who really is in charge of the country? How can a foreign...
Hold on. You really believe what a man said, Daniel? You really believe that, man?
Of course not.
You really believe that?
Of course not. I know better than that. Because if that is the case, if a foreign investor can do that, why isn't DSH operating in St. Lucia right now?
These guys have no respect for y'all. Don't mind them, man. They just grab a man that done this. Tell you walk. Come to Bermuda. Tell them come there. Tell them come. I know they fly past there like a train. The government will never ask that question. You know what the government will tell them? Are you on drugs? You don't want to be on office the same day? They'll be on office the same day. All hell will break loose in Bermuda. All hell will break loose. Somebody come here, we ain't give them the okay, we don't know. These guys just lying to you all, tell you anything. The most truthful man you have down there, so out of my Shasta, you're calling him a liar, all kind of nonsense. This guy's always lying. Tell him like the Trump. I love what Trump doing there, man. Squeeze them by the balls. Don't let him go, Donald. Burn him, Donald. Don't let him get away. The big kid lying. I said, I can send you some potato. I'm going to give you some potato seeds. Okay, nonsense, I tell you. Oh, I can give you the moon. I can bring the moon for you tomorrow. Yay! But everybody in World Field Solutions are stupid people. A bunch of clowns. Don't laugh at these guys, Andrew, when you go to work. Don't laugh at these guys. Ask them the personal questions. The questions that they hate being asked. That's what you gotta do. And I heard Rick Wayne talking about, Andrew. I heard Rick Wayne saying again, that girl, what's her name again? Lisa. Was it Lisa Joseph? Lisa Joseph wasn't this, she wasn't that. Rick Wayne! Lisa Joseph better than you! Rick Wayne! You're just a PIP man. Party in power. Lisa Joseph not scared, nobody. She tell you what she goes. She asks you, put in the questions. She do what she gotta do it. She ain't scared of y'all. You know in a class, Rick Wayne. So shut up. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much for that, caller. That, of course, is Mr. Bermuda. And we have some messages on the Facebook platform that we need to get to. Somebody's saying, with reference to the quote by the Prime Minister, well, a statement by the Prime Minister on the CIP monies from Wasco, the person is saying, was that in the budget? Why are we only hearing about this now? Another person is saying, so why are we paying Wasteco? Well, the Prime Minister did say, harvest your rainwater and pay your small Wasco bills. Another is saying the Labour hacks have nothing to say on CIP money. All the concern is about vaccine monies that could have saved their own lives. Deban Sahot. Another says, good question, Mr. B. Somebody says, Donald Trump is the Prime Minister of St. Lucia, LOL. Another is saying, Philip and Baby were just blowing smoke about visa. Somebody says, PJP is the Deputy Prime Minister. Somebody says here, PJP just said, PJP just said in a meeting that he needed monies to commission the hospital. I forgot how much. Now he is saying that he has the money. Why is he not sticking to his truth if it's the truth? Why is he jumping all about like that? And you are correct, listener, because at the Second World Congress of Racial and Ethnic Health Disparities, the Prime Minister did say that he needed about $40 million to commission the St. Jude Hospital. In fact, he said we just commissioned a hospital, but we need monies, and that money has to come from loans, from borrowing. And he said, he went on a rant about how difficult it is to borrow and that he had a CIP, and because of external pressures that CIP had to be cut short. But today, he is saying that he has the money. My question to the Prime Minister is this: did your loan get approved? Inquiring minds would like to know. Somebody saying, just like our passports, he said, almost the same thing. Now, honestly, it is very difficult to ascertain what is truth and what is innuendo when you listen to Prime Minister Philip GPA speak. Because at one point, he's going to tell you what he wants to tell you. In fact, upon further assessment, I believe that when Philip JPA is asked a question, he doesn't answer the question that he's asked. He answers his own question. I'm starting to believe that this gentleman comes to those press briefings with his own questions in his head. And when you ask him something remotely similar to the question that he wants to answer, he chooses to answer his own question as opposed to the one that you have posed. Now, earlier in the clip, the Prime Minister was speaking about doctors and nurses. And he was referring to the Cuban medical mission, which includes scholarship opportunities for St. Lucian students to study a medical specialty or nursing or, well, anything in the medical field, so to speak, in Cuba. Of course, we know the long-standing animosity between Cuba and the United States and how that has affected foreign policy in the Western Hemisphere for decades. I think since the 1970s. I might not be correct about that, but pretty sure someone will tell me. And this isn't new. But I want to remind St. Lucians that it was our Prime Minister and also our Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Alba Baptiste, as well as other prominent St. Lucians who were agitating on the world stage, who were, I think, at the UN and other international heads of governments meetings for the lifting of the U.S. embargo on Cuba. Now, I know there was one U.S. president, I think it was Joe Biden, who was seriously considering lifting those embargoes. And I do recall that our government was one of those voices advocating for the lifting of that embargo. That may or may not be where the Mongoose Gang statement originated from. But we do know that the St. Lucian government, as well as other governments in CARICOM and the OECS, were advocating for the lifting of the embargo, the U.S. embargo on trade with Cuba. But now, Cuba has been deemed a threat to American national security. And if, like the Prime Minister says, the Americans are our friends, Donald Trump is saying, if you are my friend, then you cannot benefit from help from my enemy. But what I am not hearing from our Prime Minister, from our regional leaders, I am not hearing any sort of negotiation. I'm not hearing any sort of pushback. Because, okay, just hear me out, guys. The Prime Minister has said that the Cuban medical mission is critical to healthcare in the region. It meets the healthcare needs of almost every country in the OECS and beyond. And it is a big loss to the region if we can no longer access help on that front. If it is that we've gotten into a situation where the U.S. is putting pressure and saying, listen, you cannot, we don't want you dealing with Cuba anymore. Why hasn't CARICOM gotten together and said to Donald Trump, listen here, if you want us not to play nice with Cuba, then you need to provide us with another source of medical personnel. Why aren't we hearing that from our leaders? Because it's a critical service. We need it, right? We've been told quite often that the Cuban medical mission was instrumental in saving lives during the COVID-19 pandemic. If it weren't for the Cuban doctors, we were told, St. Lucia would be up a certain creek without the proverbial paddle. So why isn't there any pushback? Why aren't regional leaders getting together and saying to Donald Trump, give us an alternative? We need this. These scholarships that Cuba provides for our medical students are essential. They're critical. They are necessary. And if we can no longer access these essential scholarships, you are going to have to fulfill that need. I'm not hearing any of that from the regional bodies. I'm not hearing it from CARICOM. I'm not hearing it from our Prime Minister. I'm not hearing it from the OECS. Everyone is simply kowtowing, bowing, towing the line. If America does not want us to benefit from the Cuban medical mission, why aren't our leaders asking America, saying to them, we're willing to comply, we're not saying no, we're willing to comply, but you're going to have to provide us with an alternative? Nobody's thought of that? How are we supposed to staff our hospitals and health centers and polyclinics? Why not say to Donald Trump, send our nurses home, send our doctors home, let Dr. Cato Lawrenson build a lab in St. Lucia, equip it with everything, and let his research continue here? No, nothing of that sort. But the Prime Minister, it seems he still has not read the room, and he has not gotten the message as thoroughly as he needs to. Did you hear him talking about the places that he wants to turn to for medical personnel? Mexico, Ghana, Nigeria, Brazil. I'm sorry, aren't most of these countries on America's list of do not disturb? Don't pass go, don't collect $200, stop in your tracks. Isn't Donald Trump building a wall to keep Mexicans out of America? A transparent wall? Isn't Nigeria on that self-same list of 75 countries? Isn't Ghana on the list? Why go? You're already in hot water. This is what I don't understand. You're already in hot water with the Americans. There is a battleship or a contingent of battleships already stationed in the Caribbean Sea. They're already there. They're waiting for orders. They snatched a president out of his bed in his own country, surrounded by his military. We have a caller on the line. Good afternoon to you, caller. You are on the air.
Good afternoon, my love.
Good afternoon.
I had to come on. I had to come on today.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to our political leader in the House today.
Oh, wow. Oh, he's back.
I thank God.
Yes, he's back. Didn't I send you a notification to tell you he was coming? He's going to be he was in the house today.
No, you didn't. You forgot me.
Oh, shucks, I forgot you, man. I really thought I had sent it, or you would have known that he was in the house today. Anyway, he was in the house today, and he didn't let me down. Because, as far as I'm concerned, people are asking for the United Workers' Party leadership to speak up, you know. But as I've said before, the United Workers' Party spoke enough. Enough during before and during the campaign in many platforms and many forums. And our people seem not to have been listening because whatever, I know, yes, there was a lot of money, but sometimes, one has to have, regardless to one's position or status, they always say you have to have integrity. And if you go for the bluffs and the lies and the money, then deal with it. And this is now your opportunity to speak up. Let the people speak.
Yes.
So the time being, to me, for the first few months after elections, I think the United Workers' Party leadership need to keep quiet for a while and let the people be the opposition. Let them speak up for what concerns them, what affects them. Because only when they speak up, then will probably the government listen. If it's still the leadership of the United Workers' Party that is speaking up, the rhetoric, the blame, the slander, the name calling of the United Workers' Party will continue. And they will say the government is working, the government is good. The government is everything. Is the people not saying that? The people like the government. So if the people have a problem with their government, let them speak up. Let them be the voice. Let them come out now. Alan Chastney has a responsibility to the residents, the supporters of the Mikud South constituency. So he has a duty to go in the house and represent them. If St. Lucia wants Alan Chastney, then they need to speak up.
That's right.
Now, as I said, because you notice, what has been happening lately in the landscape of all those who want to fix the United Workers' Party, I cannot stay silent and not speak up. Because it reminds me of the 1990s. I just want to say this. It reminds me of the mid-1990s. You see, if I wasn't alive and around and was not active in the politics of St. Lucia and in the boroughs of the United Workers' Party, I wouldn't know those things. And I was close to the leadership of the party. And I remember in the mid-1990s, the fighting, the insurgents on the inside of the party by those who say they support the United Workers' Party, the infighting against Sir John. I remember sitting down one afternoon. I came from work around after 6, and I had to go to Sir John's office to collect something for my father. And he had this chat with me as a young person. I had to ask him the question, because I'm always thinking politics, And I said to him, what you going to do about all this thing, Captain? The ship is sinking. You need to get down. You're getting old. It's your time to go out. Now, all that time, remember, the Labour Party was losing, Mr. Julian, against Sir John. But the people inside our party was giving the man, his cabinet, his friends, his colleagues, giving the man a kind of pressure to step down. I left the country at the end of 1995 to go and study. By the time I returned in 1997, we had lost. Sir John had stepped down, and the United Workers' Party was out of power. The Labour Party decided to bring in the starshine leader, Dr. Anthony. And since then, the United Workers' Party, all those that was screaming for, get rid of him, take him out, we want change, all of that, they could not win an election again against the Labour Party until Sir John, the same Sir John that they threw out in the mid-90s, came back in 2006. Amid a lot of pressure. I don't think it was easy in taking over the leadership. There was a lot of pressure because I was in England speaking to Sir John on the phone and Lady Janice in the night in England while he was going through the campaign. The pressure he was getting from some of them. And Sir John was the only one that could win. The only one that could win an election for us. He handed over, because he was sick and he eventually died, handed over to Stephenson King. Stephenson King couldn't hold on to the winning at all. We lost again until Alan Shastney came back in. But from the time Alan Shastney won, you think he was only getting struggle and fight from the Labour Party? There was a lot of fight down within us again, inside. You know what is unique? Even though the Labour Party was losing with Julian, you never heard their row in public. You never heard them calling the TV, the radio and TV, like all recurring shows and so that was going on. You never heard the Labour Party out there saying things about Julian Hunt. You never heard them. They changed, they make their switch, they put Kenny Anthony in. All the comrades stand up with the decision of the Labour Party. And you're not hearing nothing. You mean to tell me Labour Party have had no trouble between 1997 and 2005 amongst them? You hear not nada.
I doubt.
But you
I doubt that.
Yeah? But you always hearing UWP people, so-called supporters of the United Workers' Party, they all out there in public, languishing, hitting, slandering, criticizing, saying all kinds of things about their leader, the executive, about the members, about the party. Everybody has an idea of how it should run out. You all had it from since the time of Sir John in the mid-90s. You all remained in opposition from 1997 until Sir John came back. When will we learn? When will we in the United Workers' Party learn that we need to keep our business internal, let the democratic process of the people and supporters of the United Workers' Party do their thing? When will we learn that? When will we learn to act like the Labour Party and stop this public slandering of all our business, of who should be this, who we want, who we don't want, who we support, who we don't support, and putting all of that out there in the face of the public? When will we learn? And then we blaming people for our loss when it's we ourselves. Are we going to make the same mistake we made in the mid-90s until 2006? Are we going to continue making it, that we will remain in opposition until again the stone that the builders reject have to come back and be the cornerstone for us? Are we going to learn? Everybody have ideas. Everybody have. But you see, I've lived too long. I have witnessed too much. I have watched Sir John what he went through, and I'm seeing it repeat all over again. And as I said to them, I, Jocelyn Clark Fletcher, will never be a part of any dismantling of the United Workers' Party. I will not join any coup, any cut down, anybody that want to destroy. I believe in the democratic process of the United Workers' Party. Let the people decide. Let the delegates of the United Workers' Party decide who will be the executive, who will lead them. And whoever they put, I go with them. It is about the party. I am sick and tired of all this, the public laundry washing, dirty clothes washing, mépris and thing of the party. I'm sick of it. Because if we have to keep fighting that, we have no time to fight the St. Lucia Labour Party. We're repeating, we are carving in stone the rhetoric of the Labour Party as gospel for us. And we letting people dictate who should lead us, what we should do, how we should do it, when we should do it. But we have no say in what goes on in the Labour Party. I am sick and fed up of it. And as a person who has been in this party for a long time, have given of my blood, sweat, and tears in this party, I will not stand up and allow or be a part of any of this kind of thing. And I will voice and put my mouth there. I will speak up. And I will tell we'll rally the supporters and say, this is our party. We make the decision. We take over and we demand that our constitution be recognized and respected and allow our democratic process of our party to continue. We will not allow rhetoric, people agendas, people with hate agenda, people with own personal leanings to decide for us who are not part of their thing what should happen. I have no interest other than that of the United Workers' Party and to see the party go forward. I am so tired of it. I am so really, really tired of seeing it. And I watch our supporters, I listen to them, and no matter how much they try to persuade them, sway them, make them drink the SLP Kool-Aid of what the SLP have been saying about us, they are resisting it. And I am telling them, don't underestimate the supporters of the United Workers' Party. They will listen to your thing, hear it. But when the time comes, they will not allow you to dictate to them because they are true supporters of the United Workers' Party. They do not believe, they cannot even they cannot contend with the Labour Party and what they are doing. They believe in their hearts of hearts, Labour Party is not good for St. Lucia. They believe that the United Workers' Party has never lost an election, that loss has always been manipulated and orchestrated by the whims, the machinations, the evil, the tricks of the SLP. All their money and all their things, and with the help and assistance of so-called UWPs. They believe that. And I kid you not, let them continue making the mistake of thinking that they will be able to sway the supporters of the United Workers' Party, the delegates, into following their plan to take a coup and to crush the head of those who have sacrificed themselves while we have been in the wilderness for this United Workers' Party. It's not going to happen. I am telling them they will have a rude awakening. It will not happen. The supporters will not support it. They rather just finish and let it drop and let it stay there in opposition for life than to allow the same people who assist their enemies, the traitors who assist their enemies to make the party lose. If they think that they will support them, they're wrong. They're very, very wrong. And I sit with the people, I listen to them, I follow them, I watch them. And many times they will tell you, oh, the people that speak, the people don't want this, the people don't want that, the people don't like this. I hear they say, all executive must go. I wonder who put the executive there. I wonder who put them there. I wonder if somebody had a gun. Oh, I wonder if the UWP had so much money to buy supporters. I wonder, because if we had all that money, today we would not be in opposition. Because we would have been using and the same tricks of the SLP. People, look at what is going on in this St. Lucia. Look at the amount of problems. Look at all the promises that were made before election. Look at now after election, it's excuses. Look at what is happening with Cuba. Look at what is happening on the geopolitical arena. Look at what's happening with the visas. You think we are going to talk? We were warned. St. Lucia was warned all before about those things. How many Sunday lives and this show and that show and
the alarms were sounded throughout the length and breadth of St. Lucia, and nobody listened.
Day in, day out. I was there. You all know I was there in the thick of it. Went everywhere to make sure our people heard and know. And if after it was if they miss a show or they miss hearing something, we would post it in all the groups and all on Facebook so that the people would hear. What happened. You take what you wanted. You prefer immediate instant gratification. You prefer somebody to give you a plate of steak and potatoes, right? Today and the next few days, you eating dry bread and water. That's what you preferred. So who are you going to blame now? You want the same people to sacrifice again, to come back again, day in, day out and speak up for you? It's your turn to speak up.
That's right.
It's your turn to tell this government what you think about them. It's your turn to tell them, I'm not going to accept your bribe and your lies. that I am suffering. I need a continuous supply. I don't need an immediate gratification. It is time for them to do that. And don't expect us to keep sacrificing ourselves, taking the insults, the blows, the makeways on our lives, our careers, our families, you know, and expect us to be there in it all the time. And when the tire hits the rubber, when the tire hits the road, you know what I'm talking about. Then you'll all come and turn around and still blame us. Still blame us, so you'll have no responsibility in that at all.
It's interesting. It is interesting that the same individuals that were saying they don't want the white man and Shasne will never, 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 never. They are the ones going around saying, where is Shasne? Why isn't he coming? Why isn't he speaking? Where is he? You didn't want him. Why look for him now? I was really hoping that he was somewhere on a beach. I saw a photo, a meme of him on a beach, on a lounge chair, lounging, drinking a cocktail, and I was really hoping that this was a true representation of what he was up to.
Let me tell you, that was an old thing, but let me tell you something. By the time the man was there dealing with his father,
yes, that's what I mean.
You see, you have to sometimes understand what is important to you, you know. You can't always put other things more important than the people that will always be there for you. His father is there for him. His mother is there for him. His wife is there for him. His children is his legacy. Okay? You can't keep putting people in front, and after you give them everything, then you get the blows. Okay? The party wasn't getting money. When the party was getting money, we in opposition. Yet Alan Shastley was taking all his money and spending it to pay for all those lives, all those Sunday lives and all those shows. All right? For us. And do everything for us. Where's our gratitude? Where's our thanks? We blame him. Of course, when the ship sink, you blame the captain. When there is problem, you blame it. But then that's just an analogy. We have to look beyond that and look at the facts. Is it really him alone that needs to be blamed? You know? Are we saying, I hear people saying, Guy Joseph this, Guy Joseph that. Are there people in the Labour Party with worse reputations? With worse things being called at them? Do you hear the Labour Party blaming them?
Not.
You hear the people in the Labour Party calling out for them to step down or get out or to throw them out? You're not hearing that, right? Because as long as you're a member of the Labour Party, you are baptized, cleaned, white as snow,
washed in the blood of the Lamb. Washed in the blood of the Lamb.
Yes, ready to enter the pearly gates. What is wrong with us as people? So are we going to continue trying to force things down people's throat? If you don't want to see, you don't want to see. You think the SRP supporters are out there calling the people names? Giving them nape? In fact, they all of them, the minute you touch one of the wolves that you know is a wolf, you know that wolf attacking the hens and eating and killing how many of your lambs. But yet still, they will come out and defend that wolf. And then by the time they finish defending that wolf, it looks as white as a newborn lamb. Okay? So we have to understand. Let us continue. Let us continue demonizing our party, demonizing our leaders. Let us continue using the rhetoric of the Labour Party and painting our leaders black as snow, as that. Everything they say about them, let us put horns and chains on them. Let us continue, because that will work for us. Let us listen to those who say that they're UWP supporters and they demonize them, and we support that. Let us continue, and we will see whether or not the United Workers' Party will get out of opposition. I hear them do it from 2016. Then increase it in 2021, demonizing the leadership of the United Workers' Party. And then they now say, when we lose, they say, again, it's the leaders' fault. What were they doing? Were they doing like the Labour Party, standing up and supporting, painting our people white, denouncing the names and the names and the mape and the unfair insults that were being sent at them? Were they standing out and defending Alan Chasney? Did we come out together as an entire party and defend Alan Chasney and Guy Joseph? and say that is not true?
You
Did we
are,
do that like the SLP?
you are getting so much support from the listeners on the live. Let me tell you, these listeners on the Facebook platform, they are agreeing with everything you are saying.
I am telling you, child, it has broken my heart. Broken my heart because I cannot understand what is happening with UWP. I am yet to see SLP agree. SLP was, you know what's amazing? When Richard Frederick and Stephenson King were in UWP, SLP were painting them as Lajabless, jab, criminals, demons, the worst sort of thing. Right now, they are part of the SLP. You try to say one thing about them, okay? One thing about them or Ernest Hile, and immediately all SLP ranks will come out. All supporters, even if they are just the drumbeat by the street that's supporting Labour, they will jump up and hit social media, hit the airwaves, supporting and defending these men. Okay? But we who call ourselves UWP, we will join them and demonize Guy Joseph, demonize Alan Chastney when they call them criminal, thief, corrupt, white man, foreigner. We were not coming and putting in arms and defending them. And today, because we lose, we're blaming it all on them. We're not taking no blame for ourselves. They did that to Sir John. UWP did it to Sir John in the mid-90s. They did it to him. When he couldn't take again, he stepped down. And they remain in their tail in opposition. Opposition, they whipped them from 1997 until the same captain that the ship is sinking, get out you all, and all kinds of things. We had to come back in 2006. Let me ask you that. Is Alan Chastney older than Philip Pierre? Is Alan Chastney older than Stephen King? Is Alan Chastney older than Alva? Is Alan Chastney older than Emma? They're still there in the house today representing St. Lucia. Representing St. Lucia. But how many of us I heard them in the United Workers' Party? Alan must go. They're older than me in the FLP. I am older than Alan, but they're crying out, Alan must go. Let me tell you something. If we don't learn and we continue the same mistake that we did with Sir John, we will remain in opposition, and it will not be Alan Chastney or Guy that keeping us in opposition. We are the ones that will keep United Workers' Party in opposition. It's time we change and tell all those bluffers, okay? All those people that cannot keep our business inside and talk about it, or to present the plan, put the plan out in front of us, call us in a meeting, show us what you have, what your plan is, where you want to bring the party, show us the willingness to unite, to work, to build and strengthen the party. Show us that. Until they can come in front of us, and I don't have time to listen to them. I'm tired of that. I'm tired of the outside talks on social media, on Facebook, on calling radios and talk shows. I am tired of it because I don't see them call a meeting and calling all of us to say, this is the blueprint I have to fix up United Workers' Party, to unify us, to develop us. Come and show me that. Show me that. But all I see is hate. I'm validating what SLP says about our leaders and our party. That's all I see. Trying to break down and destroy and then turn it around and blame our leadership for our loss. But I tell you, I kid you not, and they will get a rude awakening. The supporters of the United Workers' Party, the delegates, will not tolerate it. They've had enough, and a lot of them remember what happened to Sir John. And they will not tolerate it. They will remember after Sir John, the only person who made us have a win in St. Lucia is Alan Chastney. They will remember. They will remember that they will embrace United is our name. They will embrace whoever comes to help. They are willing. They don't want to force leadership because they believe in democracy. Whoever emerges leader is leader. That is what they will do, and they will stand and support. They will stop this once and for all. They will not tolerate it again after 2021. To 2005, that's enough. They've had enough of it. I'm telling you, you watch, Angie.
Thank you for that, Dr. Fletcher. And as I said, you are receiving so much support from the live. We have another caller on the line. Thank you so much for your contribution.
Okay, my darling. Take care. Yes. Bye-bye.
Good afternoon, caller. You are on the air.
Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon.
Yes, I was listening to your last caller, not in depth on what you say, but in my mind, it's probably about certain things maybe Oswald had said on PNP. My take on that is, I believe at this point with the United Workers' Party, it's all based on capacity building. And I believe when the convention comes, everybody should resign. That's my thing. And let the people vote for who they want to vote for again. Second, based on that topic is that if Osborne want to come and give his expertise, his thing, I all on board for it. You understand? For me, let's value going to the the Solution Labour Party, because we're losing all of our good people in the sense of that same thing we're doing, always trying to bash them and them defending. Okay, the man talk, he said what he said, that is his opinion. Too much emotions going on in those kind of dimensions where we do not have to go there at all. He gave his thing. I agree with him certain things he said. I disagree with certain things he said. But a neutral Oswald, for me, is a perfect place for him to be, or if he want to be a part of the United Workers' Party. I do not want none of our people continuously going and add value to the Solution Labour Party. And we have saw it in 2 elections. Whatever they say, what they do, they won. Frederick won his seat, Stevenson King won his seat. That was United Workers' Party. People, we could have settled that and reached to a conclusion where all heads have a neutral understanding to the thing. So we know, all right, you're a neutral, stay on your side, do not go to the Solution Labour Party. That's how it is. But I cut off on that part now. I called for another reason. And the reason I called for, hello?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Yes, and the reason I called for was the same, I lost my train of thought. Wow. But I'm all right. What I'm trying to tell you is that, my lady, is I'll stop there for now because I lost my train for my next subject. What I want to say is that we need all the capacity we need for us to win an election. We have a democratic process. If you said the thing should resign, there's a convention coming up, there's a process. You understand? Let us tone down the rhetoric when it comes to our people when they're expressing themselves and them different things. We can call the word I was looking for compromise, and that is what the American system has been on, compromise. We not agree to everything, but one thing we should agree on is not adding value to the other side. You understand? Over the years, Labour Party is good with it. All right, we have a fallout with some of our people from Vaughan Lewis. That is what destructive politics is about. That is the investment the Solution Labour Party have done for 50 years. I told you we were in power for only 2 terms, 2007 and 2016. The ideology of the laissez-faire economy, the ideology of the beggar's mentality is rampant across the country. You understand? So my point is, money buys people in our hemisphere and in St. Lucia. And when people feel and they're back against the wall of emotional things, they do certain things that probably they didn't want to do, but based on not having a conclusion of the problem, and then the problem exacerbates itself for no reason. So I believe what Osborne is doing, he still said that I never heard him speak in time of the election or anything. They followed. I believe he remained neutral. He said he want to help the party in whatever capacity. He don't want no post. I all for that because we want to build back capacity. We need our strong minds. That's all. And the next thing I wanted to say about the biggest mentality in the Solution Labour Party, Philip J, like I said, we reached the junction where there is the globalization scheme. It will be around globalization. But isolation of looking inwards. Countries are not looking inwards. America do not have time to go and give US aid again. We never prepared ourselves. How long have doctors been in St. Lucia? Operating in St. Lucia, in what, from 2001?
No, they've been there for longer than that. They've been here for over 40
But
years.
it was under Kenyan to me, the Cubans came in under Sir John.
Under Sir John.
Okay,
They've been here
Sir
for
John,
a very, very long time. They started with the eye clinics, holding eye clinics throughout the island since in the 80s, and it progressed to them coming in and working, lending help, giving medical scholarships to our kids, and they've been it's a symbiotic relationship that has been in effect for almost 50 years now.
Now it's good. Now, so I will come now. Maybe Sir John and those guys was more focused on agriculture and those different things. The population wasn't that big, but from 2001 to 2029, Kenny Anthony came in and started building a lot of hospital. He built a hospital and those different things. And
Kenny Anthony,
those guys were consecutive films.
You said to 2029.
I mean 2026. Sorry.
Okay.
From 1997 to 2026, but in 2001, when Kenny Anthony started really going down in the healthcare thing and all them different things, you didn't see it fit for us to have a university with trained by Cuban staff and the generation of them thing passing down. And maybe it's a systematic thing where dependency becomes the king. You understand? So my thing is, why after all those years, 50 years, we still have not a surplus of doctors. We still cannot export doctors. And Cuba now, that is heavily sanctioned by the Americans, can somewhere find the resources to send doctors across the Caribbean and hold up entire healthcare sectors in different countries. Are you telling me for 50 years, St. Lucia, or from 1997 to 2023, where the Americans tell us to stop that? How the hell American can tell us that we could produce our own doctors? That's why we never invested in the industry. The time has come where, like you said in the last meeting, the fruits has come to ripe. And the United Nations, all those little places that have been giving loans, creditors and those different things has realized, hey, those countries do not have capacity when it comes to technology, industry, and all those different things. When you hear Donald Trump speaking, or big deals making like what is happening in different countries, they always send in the most top 500 entrepreneurs, businesses, the oil companies, the Chevrons. That's what is happening in Venezuela. You feel for a day like today, my lady, if those government that was there for 30 years, the St. Lucia Labour Party had invested in education and skilled labor, you feel we wouldn't have a small, maybe a medium enterprises like Hess, like Buckeye, a French company. You feel St. Lucia could not have shares in that, so that we can bring down our electricity or our energy dependency? You understand what I'm trying to tell you?
I understand you, but you see, you're right in a way when you say about destructive politics, because I don't know if you were around in the 80s, but I was. And back then, Sir John's entire mindset was on developing our human resources. So you found persons who were interested in pursuing certain fields that were needed in St. Lucia. For example, the island was going into a developmental boom, a building boom, and so Sir John sent so many of our young men overseas to learn how to operate heavy machinery.
Yeah, but a lot of St. Lucians living in Panama. That's when he sent them with the Panama Canal, but and then after again, I have some family from there.
Exactly. So they went overseas, St. Croix, Panama, and different places to learn how to operate heavy machinery, and then came home to work in those fields. He sent people out to learn specializations in certain fields, and then come home to make their contribution, because that was what St. Lucia needed at the time. But we did not see this happening during the time of Kenny Anthony. You're right when you say that. Instead of building up our capacity when it comes to education, they actually made our education system weaker. Okay?
Industry.
When
all of those
When we had, I don't know if you were listening yesterday, but I was speaking about the Beausejour milk farm, the dairy. We were producing our own UHT milk. Yes.
Okay.
We were producing our own in Beausejour in Vieux-Fort. We were producing our own UHT milk. We were producing ice cream, Dairy. You know, we had St. Lucia.
It's like shops in America first, St. Lucia businesses first. Then if you have milk, you're just raising the tariffs so we can protect our local industry.
You understand?
Sure,
so Kenny Anthony and his people, they destroyed all of that. And then when DSH came to St. Lucia, the plot of land where some of the land where DSH built their horse racing track and were building other things, that was where the dairy was in that area there. And that was moved. Kenny Anthony and them had already stopped the operations. So it was just an abattoir, and the abattoir was moved to Volette, and there was a huge hue and cry. You heard them saying that the land has been given away and whatever, but there was nothing going on in that area. So to repurpose the land for a horse racing track was a good idea. Now, you see, the Labour Party is not interested in Sir John's philosophy. Sir John had a philosophy. He said, you teach a man to fish. You give a man a fish, he eats for one day. You teach him to fish, he eats for the rest of his life. He also said, and I quote, that was one of his favorite quotes and something I remember about him. He always said, a country that cannot feed its people is not a country. He said it's not a country. And so he invested heavily. Yes, he invested heavily in agriculture. The Labour Party mentality is, we will not empower you because if we do, you will not need us.
But that is why I will always say again, the socialism project, the communism project, it will never work. It didn't work in Russia when it was Soviets. It didn't work in St. Lucia because those guys' policies is like the laissez-faire. But that is running short now. What Trump is basically telling you, what is happening around the world right now? Countries are fighting for critical minerals and strategic assets like oil, gas, because they already seem like they put it inwards. You think just America just went down there in Venezuela and just cut off the head of, decapitated the leadership of Venezuela and make them conform and make America sell the oil now. You think it's just because of that? It is strategic. Yeah. You understand? And we have lost a millennium. I'm telling you, we have lost it because it will take too much time to catch up. Countries are already 5 times ahead of the OECS when it comes to technology, developing artificial intelligence. This thing, it is good. St. Lucia have to feel it. You think if we were building capacity in our country, America would have closed it, tell us we do not have visas? But America need us. We have kids. That's what Taiwan did. But Taiwan knew that if they didn't do.
Listen, hello?
You did. Yep.
Okay, so caller, you're saying you're talking about building capacity, but juxtapose that against what happened between 2016 and 2021. Do you remember when Alan Shastney brought in Ojo Labs and ITEL BPO and gave them concessions so that they can stay in office and train our young people to code? What did we hear from the opposition? They were training our young people in mind-bending technology. Alan Shastney was paying businesses to keep young people at work. But what was the problem with that? I don't understand the problem. He needed capacity building. We didn't have the capacity to train these young people. Repeat that.
No, I said when he paid the people to train the staff, the new staff he trained will train the other people. Then we don't need the other people.
You understand? So we now start our own that's
Yes.
the whole thing, you know. Training our people so that we now become a center. We create an industry. And we become a center of artificial intelligence training and technology in the OECS. But we didn't see the vision. What we saw was Mumpaka Majeshime. That's what we
I
saw.
want to cut you short, my lady. We have the rights of the people there, you know, and Taiwan showed us that. And Taiwan, you see, countries do not have to tell us things they do to make themselves great. No country became great overnight. That's why I told America had a brutal civil war. They had to rebuild the country, and that is why they're so the way they are. Taiwan knew that if they had stayed a banana republic, China would have always invade Taiwan and take back Taiwan. After all those years, why do you think they never invade Taiwan? Because Taiwan made itself strategically important by having the semiconductors, by building all Toyota cars for them in Taiwan, and by making the country great. You think we couldn't do that by making ourselves good and investing in our people? I told everybody I am not for citizenship by investment. I do not believe you. We have access to 147 countries, and it's not by chance we have access to those countries. It's because we're part of the British Commonwealth. Why do you think all those other countries that do not have access to those 47 countries buying our thing? Because they do not have the value we have. We have that special leverage, and we must always maintain that leverage for generations to come. You understand? I remember in 2010-11, the Canadians stopped visa under Kenny Anthony. Look, today under Philip JPA, they stop us in America. Where are we going?
And hold on.
I don't understand the show.
And you would recall that between 2016 and 2021, Alan Shastney was in negotiations to resume our visa-free access to Canada, but that just fell by the wayside.
Yes.
Now, I do have an opinion on what you said. Say that again?
I said, have a blessed one. I'll not stay. I'll give somebody else a chance to talk. But in closing, what I want to say, St. Lucia, right now in St. Lucia, people have access to rum more than they have access to water.
Yes.
So make that sink in.
Yep.
I have a blessed one.
You as well. Now, I had 2 calls back to back, St. Lucia, and both of them were expressing their opinions. We have another call right away. We're on fire this afternoon. Good afternoon to you, caller. You are on the air.
Good afternoon, Angie.
Well, that's a voice I haven't heard in a while. Where have you been, buddy?
I'm always listening to you, sending text messages, but as of this afternoon, I cannot help it. I wanted to give the radio a break, but I just cannot help it. Angie, let me ask you something. When something good is happening and about to happen, who destroys it? It's the people, right?
That's true. It's the people.
Okay, now some persons might want to cut my neck for what I am about to say. But what I am about to say, it is not any comparison between Christ and Alan Shastney. But I just draw in a reference. When Christ came on earth to save the fallen race, who said to crucify him?
The people.
Okay. Who said they want a murderer? They want a criminal? They want a robber and everything of the nature? Who said they want them?
The people.
Exactly. So right now, in the case of Alan Shastney, okay, the people say they want criminals, murderers, and all thieves and all kind of things. So it is the people's fault. It is not Alan Shastney. Alan Shastney has not done anything wrong. Alan Shastney leads St. Lucia very well and takes St. Lucia to a place of recognition.
That's right.
And if the people decide that, okay, you know what, we do not want a good person. We do not want somebody of integrity. We do not want somebody who has a good name and good reputation. And the people now turn back and say, you know what, we want criminals, we want thieves, we want murderers, and that is who we want to lead us. And the people make the choice. why anybody want to say Alan Shasta has to resign. But hello, Angie, let me tell you something. You know, when they crucified Christ, he still come back and raised from the dead. And you know, he still saved the same people that said to crucify him.
Yep.
So at the end of the day, Alan Shasta has not done anything wrong. Okay? Nobody. And as you can know, only the people that are listening to the garbage and crap of the Labour Party that will say, you know what, Alan Shasta need to resign. If you don't have Alan Shasta, the party will win. Says who? You can say, okay, if Christ decide, okay, after I rise from the dead, I going back to my father, to hell with these people, they say to crucify him. You think anybody would be saved today? No. But at the end of the day, the people that are calling for the resignation of Alan Shasta, let them do so. But you see, for me, that is me. Alan Shasta do not have to go anywhere. If the same people say on the day of convention that they do not want Alan Shasta to be leader, well, so be it. But at the end of the day, I do not want Alan Shasta to say, okay, you know what, I am leaving because people say they don't want me. No. Let the convention, let's go to convention, Angie. Let the delegates decide that they do not want Alan Shasta, but we don't want nobody on the Labour Party and the people that are listening to the Labour Party crap to say that Alan Shasta has to resign. Alan Shasta has to go. They cannot tell us who have to go and who have to stay in our party.
That's right.
Because when you watch the people that are in position in Labour Party, okay, if you can name 4 of them that has nothing to call that is ill about them, tell me one that will not have no ill. And I will tell you, okay, that one is clean. There is none of them that is clean. None. All of them has things in their closet. And ask them to point out one thing on Alan Shasta that is questionable. They will tell you, they will say nonsense. They will lie. But with them, they're trying everything in their power for them not to go to court, for them not to face the justice system, for them not to go before the judge. Why? Because they know they are corrupt. They know they are evil. So at the end of the day, this afternoon, after listening to Joycelyn, okay, and I listened to Jordan, I just consider, you know what, I have to call. Because right now, nobody on the outside should not tell us how to control and run our party and our affairs, and who to lead our party. I am upset about it. Let Alan Shasta decide that, you know what, enough is enough, and I want to bow out. I do not want to be re-elected as a leader. But apart from that, let the Labour Party stay where they are, and let we run the affairs of our country. Because if you have to compare Philip JP as a leader and Alan Shasta as a leader, there is no comparison. None whatsoever. Okay, if you can have Philip JP as a prime minister, what you're talking about? Alan Shasta is one of the best leaders in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Not just in the region. Alan Shasta is one of the best leaders in the world. That is somebody, when COVID, they send and give Alan Shasta a ride to come up to America to advise the entire world as to how to raise revenue during COVID. And then he said, let's go infrastructure, and everybody follow infrastructure.
And you are so correct. You are so correct, because I remember I remember listening to the news and hearing that Joe Biden, after Alan Shastney introduced his large-scale infrastructure developmental plan, and the roads started being built and all of that, I heard Joe Biden, the President of the United States, introduce the same thing. Canada did the same thing. I was so shocked.
China.
And they did it after us.
China.
They didn't do it before us. They did it after us. They fought us.
Because Alan Shastney went and advised them that is the way forward. So what people talking about? Philip J.P. is somebody nobody want to talk to because the man don't know what he about. The man telling you something now. 2 minutes after he don't know what he said. So that is the type of leader. You're telling me that, and that is a leader that is better than somebody that is recognized in the world. They will call and seek advice and ask how to do things. Where you ever had to invite Philip J.P. in any forum? Every time the man speak in any forum is a disaster.
Actually, have you noticed that every time he goes to speak somewhere, they only let him come that one time? They never invite him back?
Yes. Because the man not good. The guy is not good. Only St. Lucia alone that can have somebody like Philip J.P. as a leader. Nowhere in the world, apart from St. Lucia, not even Haiti, can have somebody like that as a leader. And you're telling me, people I'm talking about Alan Shastney, I'm have to go. If Alan Shastney go, I'm not, no! They put pressure on Sir John resign. Who will not come back and rescue them? So at the end of the day, what are you telling me? Angie, I live in that with you. You see the person that always capable and that is designed to do the job and the best person for the job, that is the person that the people revolting against, and is the same person that will come and save the people. When Pharaoh had the Egyptian in captivity, and even God, the Bible said, hadn't Pharaoh had, but yet still.
Hold on, you mean Pharaoh? Hold on. Pharaoh was the Egyptian. Let's get it right. He had Israel in captivity.
Israelis, sorry, my apology. Oh, I had it wrong this time.
Yeah.
Okay, the Israelis, what happened? Every time. And what happened? Because, and the Pharaohs, and we have a Pharaoh here, you know. The Pharaohs never know what to do that is right, Angie. So, but right now, I want the people to leave Alan Shastney alone. I want the people to leave UWP alone. Let us run our affairs. Let us decide who we want for leader of our party, and let us go to election. I know that is not too far away, because so many things are happening. You can never tell when is election. Yes, serious, you know. So many things are happening. You cannot tell when is election. But let's stay cool. Let's stay quiet. Let's stay easy. And let's watch what is happening. UWBs don't have to talk and ask and tell anybody anything how to run their affairs. Let us stay lay back, relax, and watch them fellas destroy St. Lucia. Thank you very much, Annie.
You're welcome. Thank you for that, caller. Okay, I wanted to go to the Facebook platform, but the messages are coming in so fast and so quick that I really feel it's time that I weigh in on this whole discussion. So, hear me out. First of all, this is my personal take on the situation. The St. Lucia Labour Party, oh my goodness, the callers. Good afternoon to you, caller. You are on the air.
Angie, why? Angie girl, sorry. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
How are you? Getting my spirits raised up, eh? No. Yesterday I was a little bit on a damper and I was tired. Whenever my voice probably sounded the same with you.
You did sound a bit down. I was wondering if that was you.
thought was a good thing, Colin. Sorry?
I said you did sound a bit down yesterday. I wasn't sure that it was you.
I was tired. I'd just woken up from having a...
Are you there?
Very tired.
Okay.
Yeah.
Caller, you
I had a lot. Yeah, I had lots of things. Just doing that. Am I not here?
Yes, you are. Could you call on the landline? Call back on the line.
So, because I tried that yesterday, but that was showing me. Let me try it. Yeah. It was telling me something yesterday. So okay. I'll call that. Yeah. Okay.
All right, guys. So as I was saying before we get this call quickly, I need to weigh in on this whole coupe situation that we're having with the leader of the United Workers' Party. Guys, why do we want to change the leadership of the party again? Because SLP bought an election? You honestly believe that these guys really and truly got the votes that were put out there? I don't believe that. Maybe it's because I was part of the election process and I saw better. What is wrong with our leader? Why are we allowing other people to walk their lives and try to run ours? I don't understand. But we have a caller on the line. Good afternoon to you, caller. You are on the air. Hello? Caller? Okay. We seem to be having some issue with this. Caller, you're going to have to... Are you there?
You can hear me better now?
I can hear you, but not...
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you, but not better. But go ahead, make your contribution.
Hear me better now? Can you hear me better?
I'm actually hearing you worse, caller. It's actually worse.
When I called directly, it's telling me that the number is not working.
Okay, well, I can't hear you at all this time.
Oh my God.
Okay.
So I was just saying, when I called directly.
I can hear you better now, caller. Go ahead.
When I called, it's of the call is going through.
Okay.
5737. You hear me now? Better?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, because of where I'm located. Okay, Angie. Hi, Angie? Yes.
Yeah, go ahead, caller. Go ahead. I can hear you. Go ahead. I can hear you. Okay, I can't hear you at all.
3437 number. Is there something wrong with the landline?
I don't know. It's giving me a busy tone. I don't know what's wrong with it.
Yeah, because when I call it, it's telling me that the phone is not working.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have to... Yeah, we need to check that out.
We need to check the line when you call it direct. But when you call it on WhatsApp, of course, I can get through because I'm talking to you now on WhatsApp.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I was just saying, Angie, I'm very happy. Mr. Howard, thank you. I want to clap for you, but I want to applaud you. But thank you, Mr. Herod. Very good contribution from Mr. Herod. And I'm happy to hear that Mr. Fletcher was on the line as well, along with other people. Angie, everything Mr. Herod said, except the Israelites thing a little bit, was on point.
Mm-hmm.
On point. Everything Mrs. Fletcher said was on point. And everything the other caller said, because I think I've heard 3 callers so far.
Mm-hmm.
On point, Angie, on point. I'll tell you, the Labour Party has actually gotten into the minds of some St. Lucians, some, and they're repeating the rhetoric that the Labour Party has left behind for them. And that rhetoric needs to stop when it comes to stop being repeated by the UWP supporters. And let me say that again. We UWPs need to stop repeating the rhetoric of the SLP, because the rhetoric of the SLP is for us to get rid of one of the ones that they've peddled is that we should get rid of our leader. Our leader, Alan Chassé, he actually sent in his resignation after the election and was not accepted. That's not the first time. Second time, it was not accepted. Rather, they would prefer to have a convention and whatever, do it the right way, or whichever way they wanted, whichever way the members of the parties wanted it, because we're a democratic party. One of the things that I would like to forewarn the UWPs about is not to come out and discuss and wash your dirty laundry on fire or any other forum, Facebook, whatever it is. No other forum should we come and wash dirty laundry. Dirty laundry meaning that we have a problem. We have a problem with somebody. We want to voice an opinion that is against someone in our party. We start picking fights, and we go out there openly and pick fights and make statements that is against our party. That we should not do. Do we hear the SLPs doing that?
No, we don't.
All SLPs singing from the same hymn book. The same hymn book. While they're convincing UWPs to do something else. Whilst they're convincing UWPs, and Mr. Herod, you said it very well. The same way they made us get rid of Sir John is the same thing that they try with Alan. These are the strong leaders that we have had.
Now, funny enough,
these are the
hold on.
Why they didn't tell us to get rid of Stevenson King?
let me just say this. Every time the SLP cannot beat a leader from the United Workers' Party, they fool the supporters to get rid of them for them so that they can have an easier time. And they fool us to get rid of our leader for them because they cannot do it themselves. And I have said to several people in conversation, if you believe that Alan Chassé is a weak leader, put on your boots and come and beat him.
Not only that, if you believe Alan Chassé is a weak leader, give concrete reasons why you believe.
No, I don't need the reasons. I don't need the reasons. Beat him. Beat him if you can. Take him out of there. And they took everybody out, but they couldn't take him out. That says a lot. That means.
Exactly. But you come in with the XLP rhetoric. Alan did not win an election, so we have to get rid of him as our leader. Alan did win his seat.
Hold on. How many elections?
The Honorable Alan Chassé won his seat in the last election.
He did. But let me ask them the question. How many elections did Julian Hunt lose? Was he ever taken out? Was he ever taken out? Didn't he retire? Didn't he retire?
Yes.
He was never changed.
Because they were supposed to bring in another one and they brought in Kenny.
Yeah, they brought in Kenny. But they kept him there. They stood by him.
Precisely. Leave us alone with our Alan Chassé, please and thank you. And then they're telling us, oh, Alan Chassé is a weak leader, yet we'll never win an election with Alan Chassé. I am not repeating that. I forbid that. We will win election elections with Alan Shastri as our leader. We will win elections with Alan Shastri as our leader. Why did Philip JP call a snap election? It wasn't time for the election. It wasn't 5 years yet. Was it?
And here's the thing.
Philip JP called a snap election in St. Lucia. Has anybody taken time out to even look at that?
Well, here's another thing they haven't looked at. You realize that every idea Alan has come up with, Philip JPA has appropriated, even his slogan. Alan said, let us make St. Lucia the best place to live and work in the world. And Philip JPA is going everywhere saying that. Everywhere saying that. So, the man that y'all are emulating, y'all want us to get rid of him so y'all can rush and snatch him up? Leave him where he is, please and thanks. We're not going to allow the SF. Hold on, eh? I disagree with any changes in the leadership of the UWP. I'll tell you, because why should we allow the Labour Party to run their party and walk ours? In fact, they want to run our party and then walk theirs. No. Y'all do y'all, we do ours. We are two different parties. You cannot tell us what to do, we're not telling you what to do. Stay in your section.
GPH was done by Hilaire. Our pots have been sold for $1 per year for 30 years. We are losing $10 per head. We are losing $10 per head per tourist, per passenger from the cruise ship port. Let me say, maybe Mr. Lucia is understanding per head. We are losing $10 on everybody who walks through St. Lucia from that cruise ship that comes to our port, $10 per person. How much more money we're losing? And then we're losing monies in Soufrière again. And because SLP, Hilaire, Philip JP sold our pots, Castries and Soufrière for a meager $1 per year for 30 years for us to get a facelift done to Port Castries. I don't know about Port Soufrière because Papi, we not seen anything happening there. Okay? You're telling me that is tolerated. You'll still have here as your deputy leader, and you want to tell us who to make leader of our party? No, thank you. Keep yours advice. We don't want it. We love Alan Shastri, and we're keeping Alan Shastri, and we'll keep voting for Alan Shastri because Alan Shastri has proven himself as a leader in St. Lucia, as one of the best. The second after Sir John, Alan Shastri, and we cannot compare Alan to Sir John, because Sir John was a totally different era. Sir John brought electricity, water. The initial development of St. Lucia was done by Sir John.
That's right.
Have we seen another since Sir John? Have we seen another innovative prime minister who will cut back on taxes? Who will fix roads, who will make an airport, because we tourism based, an international airport, who will introduce the 7-crop project because of our farming, who will do so much. I remember I told you I wanted to continue, but Angie, I know other people are calling. I have to call early to continue this conversation about what Alan Shastri did in St. Lucia in 5 years, and we had COVID.
Mm-hmm.
I need to do it because people have to understand who Alan Shastri as a leader is. Not as a white man, as a leader of St. Lucia, as a prime minister of St. Lucia, what Alan Shastri did. He surely did not close health centers. He actually enhanced them.
Mm-hmm.
He enhanced them. There were more training for the community health aides and for the nurses, etc., who were posted at these health centers. People were receiving a lot more services. You will tell me I'm hearing an ad, go get my mammogram at my health center. Where is there anybody doing mammogram mammograms at any health centers in St. Lucia. Dimoy,
I can't tell you because
tell
I
me
don't
which
know.
health center I can go to do a mammogram for free. Philip, tell me, because it's you that they're talking nonsense. Hilaire, tell me which SLP, answer the questions. Where do we go to get mammograms? Where do we go to get free healthcare in St. Lucia? Kote. Where? We're driving on roads. The roads are messed up. Messed up. You're not doing absolutely nothing. I'm not saying you could buy a potholing truck to pothole, but maybe you should buy some damn equipment to resurface the road. And not just to pothole. Because you'll have pothole the Catrice Grosley High Road. And the potholing has made it into a roller coaster. It is a mess. Bleed when you're driving. The road is not smooth. Imagine this is wet and you're driving and your car's skidding or something on this road. The kind of nonsense that can happen because the carriageway is not a smooth carriageway. And then you're going to blame people for accidents. Enough is enough. Leave us with Alan. Alan is our guy. He's not your own. Leave us with our guy, Joseph. Please and thanks. Leave us with Dominic Fede. We love them. Dominic was one of the best tourism ministers that we've ever had in St. Lucia. Did that. Guy Joseph was one of the best, if not the best minister of infrastructure, housing, that we've had in St. Lucia in the history of this country. When rains were falling, heavy rains were coming, did we see cul-de-sac and Bexar flooding under the watch of Guy Joseph?
Not at all.
Did we see the Union Bridge overflowing with water? The bridge right there and the school getting flooded under Guy Joseph? Did we see flooding continuing in St. Lucia? Did we see roads being built? Did we see things happening? Did we see work? Did we see housing schemes coming up? Work going on. Oh, Fresh Start. Fresh Start is a private company, a St. Lucian-owned company, not a company we brought in from Trinidad to take the monies out of St. Lucia to go back to Trinidad to make us poorer. UWP does not operate that way. UWP does not bring people in to take the jobs that the St. Lucians can do and can do very well. UWP allows St. Lucians to work, to earn money, to make money, to grow, to be successful people. UWP was opening the doors for us to do so many things, different things in this country. Hotels, new jobs created, the things that UWP did. Have we seen any of that after almost 5 years of being under Labour, because they call a snap election last year? And why did they call a snap election? Because Philip knew that if he had waited for the 5 years, with everything coming out of the Americans today and the Europe and Britain and Canada, the larger countries, against the countries of the Caribbean that participated wrongly in CIP, that run a corrupt CIP program. If they had waited, we would have found everything that Alan spoke of, everything that Guy Joseph, everything the members of the UWP came out telling St. Lucians all of last year and the year before that they are seeing currently, right now, we're seeing and experiencing it. They knew that it was coming.
Yep.
So he called a snap election, had a lot of money, supposedly paid for votes for these young people that Kenny, that was born in the era of Kenny, the bossman mentality, bumwe, to give them 150 and 200 and 300, $400 to for a vote.
Mm-hmm.
We have to see why we lost the election. We have to see all the factors that were involved. It is not Alan Chasney. He didn't run an election by himself. Open your eyes, UWPs. Open your eyes, solutions. Come on, understand. Stop acting like you're Pakakopan me because Pascal's not Kakopan. Stop it, people of St. Lucia. See things for what they really are. Look at something. If the vehicle is white and it has 3 wheels, let us say it is white and it has 3 wheels. Don't let somebody come and tell, oh, that vehicle has 6 wheels and it's black. And you sit there and you drink it like goat water. We don't even have water in 2026.
Mm-hmm.
In people's pipes at their home. St. Lucia was developing. There was a time when almost everybody could say they had water in their pipe. What happened? What happened? What happened? There was go to the supermarket with $200 and buy less groceries. What happened?
The SLP happened.
There was a time I could take $50, $60 and go and fill up my tank with fuel. What happened? SLP came in. The same SLP. Oh, $150 Alan collected on gas. He put so much money in gas, but now you're collecting an extra dollar plus excess.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have made the price. You have put the price of fuel now at $16 from your $17.95. And it has at the lowest. Fuel is at its lowest on the world market. Has been for the last 2 years. But St. Lucia, everything was on the increase. When nothing increased in the world, when there was no increase in anything on the world, we were using, Philip was using the term that we were importing inflation. There was no inflation on the world market. Inflation was null and void. It was in the minus.
Mm-hmm.
Inflation was in the negative. And Philip J. Pierre was increasing prices on solutions to various taxes, etc., and high prices of fuel, and telling you all that inflation was imported. Don't you all know that, St. Lucians? When we had a man that came in, y'all did not pay house tax for 5 years. He implemented it. He gave y'all a break. His name is Alan Chasney. He removed 2.5 on the from the 15%. And if you cannot calculate 15% minus 2.5% leaves us equals to 12.5%. It is a lower rate of VAT than paying 15%. You saved 2.5% on every item you bought that had VAT on it. Do you understand, St. Lucia? Your fuel was at $13.75. On 65, over $13, just under $14, when a barrel of oil or a barrel of fuel was much more money on the world market back then with Alan Chasney. He was still doing roads. He was still building a hospital. He still increased the water capacity. He was still desilting the dam. He was still doing so much in St. Lucia, creating jobs. My. SLP, we keeping Alan Chasney. We're not letting go of him. He's our leader. Understand that for the last time.
Put it in your pipe and smoke it. Thank you for that contribution, Paula.
Put it in your pipe and smoke it. And when Philip going to give you potato seeds, Alan going to give you a 7-crop program. Put that in your pipes, farmers, and smoke that. Thank you, Angie.
You're welcome. All right. Now, I wanted to give my take. I wanted to give my take on this whole, like I said, coupe pa coupe situation that's going on with the leadership of the United Workers' Party today. Guys, listen. I saw a post on our Facebook platform and it said, and I quote, "A thief cannot tell me what security system to put on my home or to get rid of my dogs. Am I a go-go?" And I think that sums up the situation quite nicely. I'm going to get into some of the messages we have on here, but let me just give my take very quickly. There's nothing wrong with the leadership of the United Workers' Party. That's not what the problem is. That's not the question you guys are supposed to be asking. You guys are supposed to be asking, why is it that Philip J. Pierre, who had all of that grand charge, think about it, Philip J. Pierre and the Labour Party were desperate in 2021 to win that election. They did everything in their power. The words they uttered were, and I quote, "by any means necessary." That means they were willing to lie, cheat, steal, kill, everything. That's what by any means necessary means, to get into power. They did everything. They got it. And immediately after they got into office, they destroyed the country. Economic activity came to a standstill. People started dying from black is white from COVID. Then when COVID finally gave us a break, the deaths continued in gun violence. They made the St. Lucian people so desperate that they were able to buy them off. I met someone, a young man, who lives overseas and said to me that he came to St. Lucia to sell his vote. A party that is so desperate will tell me, will tell me how to run my life? No. You do you. The United Workers' Party had a complete revamp during the past 5 years. Point to any one of those candidates on that slate, and either one of them can be a future leader. Now, everybody is referring to statements made by a certain UWP supporter on Newspin yesterday, and a caller referenced that person and spoke about, if he's coming in to change, let him. No. Let me tell you why. Wasn't this individual a member of the executive before? I'm sorry, when did the UWP decide to eat its vomit? Because if something is not good now and you throw it out, when you go back and pick it up and bring it back in, it's even worse. It has deteriorated further. It is now decaying. Now, my great-grandmother had a saying. She said in relationships, if you are in a relationship with someone and you got to the point where you had to leave that individual, that person comes back and says, I've changed. I will do better. I'm sorry. You have to ask yourself a question. That question is, diseases are cured by medicine, no? When you have a disease, you have an infection, you go to the doctor prescribes medication, you take that medication for a certain amount of time, and that disease or that infection is cured. Which doctor did that person go to get medication to cure them of their problem? What prescription did they take? In this case, you have to ask yourself that question. This individual who now has all the ideas to fix the UWP, this individual who was there for the past 5 years between 2016 and 2021 and didn't do anything. That individual, that same individual who was there from 2021 to 2025 and did not lift a finger to do any work, and is now presenting themselves in 2026 with all the ideas. Where were those ideas when the party needed rebuilding? Where were those ideas when the party needed work? Where were those ideas when the party needed help? When the party was working, fixing, restructuring, rebuilding brick by brick, where was that person to lend their expertise? Where was that person to lend their help? Where was that person to do the work on the ground? If you could have done it, if you can do it now, you could have done it then. That is my take, my personal take. Where is the prescription that the doctor gave you that fixed you? Because you were already here. You were already here. And you had an opportunity and you left for a reason. The party broke ties with you for a reason, or you broke ties with the party for a reason. You coming back now to do what? You coming to bring your rot and decay? I don't know who the individual is. I don't know the circumstances, and I didn't hear the remarks, but that is my personal take on anyone, any individual, anybody. We have a call on the line. Good afternoon, caller. You are on the air.
Hi, Angie. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Great show. Great show. I love it.
Thank you.
I'm loving it. Angie, let me say one thing. I know everybody's talking about, oh, we don't want Alan Shastry as our leader. They're weak and they cannot win an election. But this election wasn't an easy election. And one thing I will say, and I listen to it, and I'm still baffled. I remember the day after election, the Tuesday, Street Vibes were interviewing people. And there was this one particular woman from Ancillary or Canries, I don't know where, but Fede was the you know, in his constituency. And you know what she said? Fede had this election on his table, right in his hand. But when I realized that he was winning, I went all out to make sure that he did not win that seat. And when I heard the lady said that, they didn't show her face, but I was sitting right there because I was in St. Lucia after the election, the Tuesday after. She said it, and you know, I could not understand this up to now. I'm like, wow. So they know what they did. That election wasn't an easy election. We did not lose the election. UWP never lost that election. We saw people in Despin giving out money, and the police stood there watching the guys giving the young fellas money to go and vote. And when you ask them why, the policeman just laugh, like they know what is happening. Let me tell you, a lot of corruption, a lot of things was happening in St. Lucia. That is why I'm saying I am not coming to St. Lucia for a long time again, because I saw too much nonsense and dirtiness happen in St. Lucia. And now the people telling us to give up. I Alan Chasney was one of the best leader after Sir John. He was the visionary leader. That is why I came back into politics. When I saw him in New York, and I saw the plan he had for St. Lucia, the hospital, he had the airport, the water system, and everything. The plan he had for Viewfort. I attended that meeting. He came to New York, and my mind, everything just turned again. I said, yes, I am back into politics again, because I left St. Lucia and I didn't really bother myself about the politics and stuff. And I said, no, I'm getting myself back into that politics. And I work hard in New York, helping, supporting my party. He is the best. And today, St. Louis, if we had given that man a chance in 2021, today we wouldn't be in that situation we are in now. Never. St. Lucia would not be on that map of people taking away our visas and deportees coming to our country. We don't even know what's going on. Nobody's saying anything. The Prime Minister just said, our cabinet approved, but nothing hasn't been done. But you'll already approved. You and your cabinet approved. Have decided it, and now you're saying nothing has not been said. Who you think you're talking to fool? But you know why he's saying it? Because he knows that his supporters are fools. They're illiterate, and I'm going to say it. They're illiterate. St. Lucia have the most illiterate people for them to vote for that man. I am saying it, and it's a fact. They don't want good things for the country. They don't want development for the country. And that saddened me. I am so sad about this. The hospital, and you know what hurts? The airport.
Yeah.
The housing scheme. I was getting myself one of those houses. I was already pushing myself to get that. When first that was they were doing those, and that bulldog came and tear the contract and said that it wasn't approved, which was such a big lie. And afterward he said he's eating his vomit. You know, and we, not me, our people in St. Lucia sit by and let that everything go on. So what do you expect? What do you expect when everything they were doing was so wrong? And St. Lucian sat down. But if it was UWP that was in power, all of them would have gone march. And demand an answer, demand this, demand that. These people are not ready, and I don't want my party supporters to worry about what's happening in St. Lucia. I know you're living in St. Lucia, and I know things are hard, but the UWP stalwart, they should not say nothing. They can talk between themselves, but do not give the leader. Don't tell them what to do. Let the people do their work, because they have 16-1. Let's watch by and see what's happening. That's how I see it. Because Labour listen when you tell them what to do. They will go and do it, so that people will say, hey, my government working, what they are doing. But wait for the tax, Lucians, wait for the tax coming up for you all, because they need another $50 million for that hospital. Anyway, Angie, great show.
Thank you very much.
One love.
Thank you for that.
Bye-bye, my dear.
Yeah, bye-bye. So let me get into some of the messages here on the platform. We have somebody's on the WhatsApp platform saying, good afternoon, Angie. You believe Trump just woke up one day and decided to put sanctions on St. Lucia? All of a sudden, he's pumping $1.2 million every month. They clamped down on Pierre because of the CIP taking St. Lucians for jackasses. Wow. Well, he can only take us for jackasses if we allow him to. That's one thing I need to see. He can do it only if we allow it to happen. Over to the Facebook platform. Let me tell you, that platform has been up in arms. Somebody says, Pierre, your hacks alone that working at Wasco. Another person is saying most St. Lucians are about handouts. Someone says Ernest should be the Minister of Uninvestment. The man mismanaged almost everything he is involved in. Another says they are saying that they don't want Alan, but look who they voted for. A disgrace to the nation, Prime Minister. Another says, great show today. Thank you for that. Somebody says, why PJP so afraid to debate with Alan? Because he knows that Alan would skin him. Another says, and now St. Lucians have Uber to deal with. Can they afford the cost? Just asking for a friend. Another says, they have 16-1. They are still afraid of Alan. Hiller told them to keep on their boots. Somebody saying, agreed caller, you were on point. Another says, what's the area code? Some says, some always going up the wrong horse. Then when they get that fall, they crying. Another says, Dr. SLP. He said, Angie, he wanted to sink our ship. I will never forget. Another says, Angie, you hit the prick on the head. He spoke like he's loyal, but if he intended to deliver on Sir John's request, he wouldn't have left, period. Somebody says, all those that sold their votes have to pay. Another says, caller Labour knows that, but that's why they are after him. People are saying, amen. Amen. Another says, I'm late. Angie, good afternoon to you. Well, you're joining in just as we were about to leave. And guys, we had the show was on fire today. I want to thank all of those who made this a very memorable edition of Hard Talk. Once again, St. Lucia, listen to me. Listen. I am of the personal opinion that if someone is aiming their gun at you, you don't provide them with bullets. And I'll repeat the quote that I read on the platform where it said, a thief cannot tell me what security system to use or to get rid of my dogs. All of this talk about changing the leadership of the United Workers' Party, you've heard it before. They went after Sir John. They did everything in their power to destroy him. Why? Because they could not beat him. They couldn't put him out of politics. They couldn't stop him from winning his seat. And now they cannot stop Alan Shastney from winning his seat. Now, do you honestly believe that your opponent will give you good advice? It cannot be. This person is trying to beat you. And another thing, if somebody loves you, just think about it. Somebody loves you. That person doesn't want to see you struggle. That person doesn't want to see you down. That person will stand by you. They will work with you. They will help you. They will support you. If the individuals that are suddenly showing up and offering themselves when they were already there, if this individual or these individuals were as good as they say they are, why did they leave when you were in the doldrums? All of the people who have all of the medications, the solutions, are they coming because they want to see you better? Or do they want to make you an easier target? And that is the same thing. I had a conversation with an SLP supporter, and that individual said to me Unless y'all take out Guy Joseph and Alan Shastney in your party, you will not see a light. And I said to the individual, why should I make myself an easier target for you to win me or for you to defeat me? Why should I make myself easier for you to beat? I'm not going to do your job for you. If you think Alan Shastney is not a good leader, then I dare you. Come, beat him, remove him from office. Because the way I see it, when you look at what has been happening in St. Lucia, Philip J. Pierre keeps saying he's victorious, he was victorious, he was victorious. But at the same time, his deputy is asking people not to stop fighting because the UWP has not gone away. Make it make sense. Why does it seem that they are fighting harder now to win the people and just thinking of things to say when they should be relaxing, rejoicing, hitting the ground running? Why were they asking for Alan Shastney? That same Alan Shastney, the same white man that they didn't want? These people are well aware that the support they want to pretend they have, they don't have it. They know that the St. Lucian public has not accepted this win because we know that this was a master class in cocoa macaquerie. They know that we know, and they are afraid. And they are desperate to change the rhetoric. Why would they be asking the media to quell persons questioning the election process? Why would they do that if it was all cook and curry and they had the support of the people? Why are they behaving as if they have even less support now that they've gotten, according to them, their biggest mandate in the history of any political party in St. Lucia? That doesn't seem fishy to you? That doesn't seem strange to you, that behavior? But it seems strange to me. And while Philip J. Pierre is running around seemingly like a chicken without a head, as if he has no clue where he is, what he's supposed to be doing, what he is doing, the operatives are on the ground distracting the members and the executive, or attempting to distract the members and the executive of the United Workers' Party by spreading seeds of dissent and talking about changing the leader. That will be, in my opinion, the biggest mistake the UWP has made to date. Because you saw what happened when they made you change Sir John. Now, I don't know about you guys. I'm not a member of the United Workers' Party. I'm not a delegate. I am simply a St. Lucian and a supporter, because I believe in progress and development, and I align myself with individuals of the same caliber. But my take is this. This is a distraction to sow dissent among the members of the United Workers' Party so that they don't go fishing and catching fish that the SLP doesn't want them to catch, so that they don't look under the hood and see what is going on with the SLP machinery, and to see that it was all a bluff and a hoax. This is not about making the UWP better. This is about making the UWP worse, so that the next election, SLP will not have to spend so much money buying votes. If you guys want to be distracted, be my guest. Me, I have my eye on the prize. I intend to keep an eye on everything that is happening in St. Lucia, and to use my platform to inform the people and to ensure that issues of national interest stay in the forefront, so that the country can benefit. Now I'm going to read just a few of those messages, because it is way past my time, guys. It's after 5. So here goes. Somebody's saying, I will keep on supporting Alan Shastney until he decides to step down, okay? Another says, and they will not beat or stop Alan. Another says, my PM not going anywhere. He's staying right here with us. Another says, Angie, they are afraid of him. Someone else is saying, Donald Trump has a big stick for them, the OECS. Somebody saying, you quoted from Sir John. Another says, Angie, their victory celebration proved the true support that they have. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for helping me air these issues. And of course, Hardtalk will always remain a platform for the intelligent discussion of pertinent issues in our country, and that will never change as long as I am the host. Those of you who listened on the 107.7 FM frequency on your radio, thank you for joining us. Those of you here on the Facebook Live, thank you. And those of you on the Facebook link, thank you for stopping by. This has been Hard Talk. I'm Angie. I'm gone. I gotta get home, guys. Do you know that, yes, last evening when I got to the bus stop, there was no bus? There was no bus, guys. And I don't even have the Uber app. So I gotta go. I love you guys. See you guys here tomorrow, where we discuss more.